Hello and welcome aboard again. Today we're going to see the Baltic Express coming up the River Nene to Port Sutton Bridge. And first, here we have the Fenland pilot just returning to port, having put a pilot on board the ship and then observed the ship being turned at the mouth of the river, ready to be brought astern up the river to Port Sutton Bridge. And here she comes, the Baltic Express, coming astern up the River Nene. They bring these ships in astern because the turning basin that's at the port is too heavily silted and doesn't allow them to turn. It's, I suppose it's a bit tricky bringing them in astern, but we've seen this done plenty of times now, and they seem to manage. So the Baltic Express and her sister ship, the Baltic Arrow, both partly owned by the Port of Wisbech, but neither of them are now allowed to go to the Port of Wisbech due to them both having had separate incidents, and when they got wedged across the river, these incidents are almost certainly due in major part to the way these ships are constructed. They're ice-strengthened ships, so they can operate in the Baltic Sea during most of the year, even when it's quite frozen. And due to their strength, and obviously they carry a bit of additional weight because of that, they have hydraulically operated rudders, which are slower to react than the traditional type of rudders on most of these size ships. Therefore, when they do try to react, they sometimes don't work in time. This ship was also known as the Lady Nora, I believe, and she previously also, I think around about 2016, actually collided with one of the pontoons at Port Sutton Bridge as she was about to go through the bridge. Caused a bit of damage, and I think it injured a couple of the either crew members or pilots on the ship. So here she goes, continuing her journey upwards, and we'll pick her up again in a little while. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for watching, and just to ask that you please hit that like button. If you don't like it, then just scroll on by, but please don't hit the dislike button, because that makes YouTube think you really almost hate me, and it upsets the algorithm. And also, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel, and then you'll get notifications of when my videos go live. Thanks very much. So now we catch up with the Baltic Express as she's just making her way into port, and you can see the port itself is a wider shop. There's a lot of timber stacked up, there's bricks and other building materials, and on the right hand side you can see a large pile of scrap metal. The scrap metal is there because the port owners actually export that, and we do have ships coming in and take that away on a sort of frequent basis. Anyway, she's coming in now, and you'll be able to see the work of the bow thrusters as she comes in alongside to get made fast on the dock. So they bought Baltic Express in on a previous evening tide, and I've returned the next morning now to get some video of them discharging her cargo. So this cargo is all timber. Now, as you may have seen in my last video, when I told you about what's happening with the Port of Wisbech and it closing, well, the Port Sutton Bridge has now taken over, I think, all the timber imports that used to go up to Wisbech. It does seem a pity that one place is losing out to another. I don't blame Port Sutton Bridge at all for taking the business. They'd be foolish not to. But also, it doesn't reflect very well on what has happened to the Port of Wisbech. And as I said in my previous video, I don't think that's the fault of the operators. Could be wrong, but I don't think it is. It's more to do with the attitude of the local authority. So, as per usual, we see the little dance of the forklifts as they come in and take the product away, and it gets put on the tugs and taken back to other places in the port and stacked, as well as near the dockside here. There's a lot of timber on board. got a scanning wide shot here of the whole port area, and as you can see, there's aggregates stacked up near the big building on the right and further back, and then between the buildings as we come across down towards the back of the area, we've got timber stacked, and then in the foreground, as you can see, we've got a lot of bricks stacked along the dockside. And now, as we go round, we'll get a nice scan all the way round, and then we'll look up the river, or down the river rather, and out towards the wash with the mouth of the river. Once again, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.